Hello, everyone. This is Noah and John, and it is Friday. So you're going to get your weekly Manhattan market update. John, let's get right to it. I'm looking at supply, came in at 71.13. Show me the chart.
I mean, Noah, it's another tick down in overall supply. It's still up on the year basis. It's up 8% from where we were a year ago, but still,
Right.
coming in a little bit lower than the week before. It gives me the sense that I'd like to see it start increasing at some point because it seems like this can't go on.
Yeah, and I think a lot of buyers are expecting that to go up. And the reason it's not going up is probably because of this right here, which is pending sales. That came in at 3,656. It looks like it keeps going up, but show me the chart.
Yeah, that is up. It's up 2% from the week before, and it's. I mean, if you look at it on a year-over-year basis, I mean, we're sounding like a broken record here, but it's 43% higher than where we were a year ago, which is just astounding, frankly.
Yeah, we report on the data. The data is what the data is. The market does what it wants, and we're telling you what it's doing regardless. And that's what we do. This is why the market pulse at 51 is rising. And of course, this is your barometer of the market that takes into account supply and pending sales for you. So that's an easy way to see that the market is in fact strengthening and leverage is going more towards sell side. It's going away from buyers and towards sell side. John, I want to point one thing out before we leave this chart room. Days on market, which is one of those metrics that we said you got to be careful of because we did do a pause of days on market for 90 days. I just want to show you something. We're getting close to that point where I think you will be able to start using this very, very important metric. And I want to explain why. This days on market going down right here was basically the rigging of the rigging of days on market.
Yep.
That's the effect it had on the market, giving a false signal, right? Falling like that would think the market's strong. Market was not strong. Market was very weak. So it ultimately came out, right, which is what we told you it would do. And this is now getting close to the level where we think it should be. And you're going to start to see this turn around. And once you start to see that curve is when you could probably start to look at this number again. If I had to guess, we're around the 110 level right now, John.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. And just, at the rate that things are going, I wouldn't be surprised to see that number sort of start ticking back down.
Exactly. I wouldn't be surprised to have that kind of a curve to it, but we're getting close and we're going to report on that for you because, again, we need to look at that number for our sellers. Great. Let's move on to the dashboard. We're looking at the weeklies. I'm looking at supply, 1 week change, 316 listings came on the market. John, show me the chart.
Yeah, it's down 6% from the week before. And again, year over year, it's actually down 12% from the amount of stuff that came on this week versus what it came on the same week last year. So seasonally, supply is where it should be. I think that maybe last year was a little bit higher than normal, but we are where we should be with supply. It's just the story is that there's just so much demand that it dwarfs the supply number right now.
That's right. And I could go to 1 month right over here and I could see there's 1,463 things that came on the market in the last 30 days. And that is actually high. That is actually high. So it's not that stuff is not coming on. It's that stuff is going into contract, which brings me to the weekly pace of contracts signed. Came in at 273. Anything over 250 is great. Johnny, show me the chart.
Yeah, I mean, we ticked up slightly higher than last week. Last week was a holiday week with President's Day. So the fact that we're trending at the same level as last week might suggest that we might be sort of at the peak here. But I mean, again, year over year, it's 30% higher than it was last year. So if you're noticing a rush of influx or you're in your business and you feel like you can't get appointments on the buy side and you feel like you don't have enough time to schedule the open houses on the sell side, that's why.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very good information to know. Let's shift to our bonus charts of the week. We always like to do this. John, I'm going to introduce the first one, bridging the gap. What we're doing here is we're looking at median asking prices over time, a nice 5-year chart. Where are the sellers asking and what is that trend? And then I am looking at median sales prices just to get an idea of where those sales prices are. And when I look at this chart, we had a great podcast with Fred Peters. If you didn't see that podcast, it's on our YouTube channel and on our dashboard. But what he was basically saying is that sellers did come down in their asking price and they got to a level where now buyers are willing to actually do deals. And you could see it on this chart, John, when you see the asking prices going down gradually. And then, of course, from COVID, and it looks like they're kind of flatlining. Meanwhile, I look at the buy side, and of course, you could see the bids coming up. So whenever you got asking prices coming down and you got bids coming up, you are going to have more liquidity in the market. And this is the market finding itself.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent chart. And it kind of tells you like, well, who's really got the negotiating power here? And as you see the sellers come down, that's a hint that the buyers have the negotiation. As the buyers start coming up, that's a hint that the sellers have a little bit more negotiating power right now. So it's a really interesting way of looking at the market.
Yeah, and I guess the worry right now is where does this level go here? Do we go back up again? And again, we hope we don't do that because that's just going to make things more challenging. We finally found where the market is. Let's let the market dictate where it goes from here. Excellent chart. John, this next chart is called Going, Going, Gone. Please introduce this chart.
Yeah, so what we did here, Noah, is we basically took everything that's coming onto the market in terms of supply, and then we just subtracted everything that's leaving the market in terms of contract signed.
Yeah, and off markets.
And off markets. And the difference is kind of, what you're seeing here. And so look at these last few months in terms of inventory leaving, and it is just, it's almost off the charts. This goes back 11 years, since 2010, and we have never seen inventory. We haven't seen, first of all, we didn't see inventory gains like we did in the summer because nothing was leaving the market. And now we do have stuff coming to the market, but just the amount of stuff leaving the market, either through contract sign or off market, is just at levels we just have not seen before.
Yeah. And again, you have to keep in mind that inventory is really a function of stuff coming on the market, stuff going off market, stuff going into contract, and stuff being sold. And so this is really summarizing all of that for you in terms of net inflow and net outflow. And you could see COVID right here. This is the shutdown of COVID right here. This is the opening, the reopening of COVID right here. And that, of course, is the recovery that you talk about, John. And when you compare it to past history, this, of course, is the golden reflation era of Manhattan real estate. This, of course, right over here was the policy-driven reset. We're just off the charts. Yeah. So we're in uncharted territory. The market's trying to find its way, but again, we're going to have to analyze this on a weekly basis until this market gets back to what we're used to seeing in terms of seasonality.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're at a very tenuous equilibrium in the market in terms of buyers and sellers, and it's just one of these things that any shift one way or another too fast could sort of wreck it. So I'm just hoping that we can kind of, piece it together bit by bit going into the busy season.
Right. And we will track it. Thank you, John Walkup. I am Noah Rosenblatt. Don't forget to check our forum right over here. You got questions, we got answers. This has been your weekly Manhattan Market Update. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you next time.